Stephanie Ruhle is a longtime anchor for MSNBC Hee Haw. By the way, she used to work in the, if I'm not mistaken, in the either George W. Bush or George Herbert Walker Bush administration. I forget which one. I think George W. Bush administration. I'll check that. And now she is a left-wing anti-Trumper on MSNBC Hee Haw. Go figure. Now, she was at a forum where she's talking about how she picked up the phone, had Trump's phone number, he answered personally. But if she tried to do that with Biden or with Harris, she was unable to do it. She would be unable to do it. She had to go through a whole bunch of people, she said. Now, what she was really doing, in my opinion, is bragging that she was so important that Donald Trump picked up the phone himself. But she buried the lead. The reason Donald Trump picked up the phone is to tell her to go F herself when she asked for an interview, number 29.
And I'll tell you one other example. The day after Donald Trump had that crazy rally at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I rolled the dice, and I called him on the phone. And he answered!
Of course he did! Of course! What'd he say?
And I wasn't calling to chit-chat. I said, Mr. President, this is Stephanie Ruhle. You made a lot of comments last night, blah, 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 blah. And it was not an on-the-record conversation. Long story, so I'm not going to get into what he said, but I called for one reason. I said, you just said a whole bunch of public things. I'd like to sit down for an interview with you. We got 5 days before the election. So we didn't get into anything. There's nothing for me to report. I called him and said, I want an interview with you. Obviously, he said no. But my point is, I was able to get to him by dialing his phone. Right. Now, that might be completely and you're like, I can't believe people know this guy's phone number. Yeah. But the reverse of that, if I were to want to connect with VP Harris or President Biden, there's 50 people between me and that. I could write a note that maybe could get to somebody, then through Pony Express and a pigeon, something might end up in a mailbox near them. Yeah. And I called DJT to say, yo, can I have an interview?
And he
told
answered.
Me to go myself, but I still was able to connect with him. Yeah.
But he still picked up.
Did you hear the end of it? The moral to the story is, when she asked for the interview, Donald Trump told her to F herself. He knew why she was calling. That's why he picked up. And she's telling the story to brag about how important she is, such that Donald Trump picked up the phone. The opposite. It's how Donald Trump disdains MSNBC, which is why he wanted to put you in your place and did. That's why he picked up the phone. And my point is, he picked up the phone. My point is, if I called Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not the point. The point is, Donald Trump has nothing but disdain for the media, for the mainstream media, for MSNBC Hee Haw, for having been pilloried for 9 years, called a fascist, called a Nazi, lied about whether or not what he said about Charlottesville, lied about what he said about disinfectant. He never said drink bleach. Lied about claiming that he demeaned a handicapped reporter, mocked a handicapped reporter. He did not. Lied about the Russia business for almost 3 years. No, that's why he picked up the phone. To put the cannon right next to your head and light it. That's exactly what he did. Now, speaking of MSNBC Hee Haw, the morning show, Morning Joe, Media Research Center has a little contest for the most bonehead statement of the year. And the winner is Mr. Joe Scarborough, number 17.
But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now, he's cogent. Mm-hmm. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, you know, I don't know if people know this or not, Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, you know what, I don't really care. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
Honestly. And within a short period of time after that, the most cogent guy had the debate with Donald Trump, and Nancy Pelosi led a coup to throw him off the campaign trail and to install Kamala Harris. That's how cogent Joe Biden was. And I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. By contrast, Donald Trump, he said. Unbelievable. Not even cogent enough to stand trial. Let's hear that again, number 17.
But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now, he's cogent. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, you know, I don't know if people know this or not, Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, you know what, I don't really care. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
Best Biden ever. Special counsel determined that he had a frail memory and couldn't hold trial. Thanks for watching these clips from The Larry Elder Show. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment. More thought-provoking discussions are just a click away, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.